At the age of 2 months, Henny became sick. The pediatrician dismissed the symptoms and gave her the speech, "If this or that happens, call, otherwise let it run its course." June had a hard time with that. Henny was tiny and fragile. How could a medical professional not take something serious? The pediatrician dismissed her as some first-time neurotic mother, but June, like many other mothers, took to the internet, which prompted the doctor to tell her, "Google doesn't have a medical degree, nor see patients like this every day." "She was around my nephew. He has strep," June told him. "She was vaccinated. She doesn't have it." His words didn't lessen her fears, and June took the child to the emergency room. Still, she was dismissed. Finally, Henny didn't get better, and another trip to the ER confirmed her web-browsing mother's intuition diagnosis: meningitis. Henny survived, but it wasn't without repercussions. The delayed treatment caused her not only to suffer an intellectual disability, but she was deaf as well. It was after that June wanted control. She just didn't realize that she would become a smug doctor who dismissed things, that diagnosing her family wasn't easy, and it was faulty. Suddenly, knowledge was a curse. When any illness or injury arose, she misdiagnosed them easily with a, "It couldn't be that, you're fine," because her judgment was clouded by wishful thinking. Nevertheless, June was good at what she did. She could have chosen to do private practice, but not wanting to deal with all the insurance issues, she opted for emergency medicine, blanketing herself under a hospital. She grew up, married, and went to school in Chicago. She even did her residency in Chicago. Did so well, she was given a position there. She credited her husband Stan for her ability to focus on school. He supported the family and made the sacrifices. He worked extra hours as an editor and producer at the local news. When he needed to transfer farther east to be close to his ailing mother, June didn't balk at the thought. She encouraged him not to work, to take it easy, and take care of his mother. Stan didn't listen. He was used to working, and he was able to land a job at the local news in Pittsburgh. June focused on the area closer to her mother-in-law and easily secured a senior physician position at a rural ER 30 miles south. They lived near the hospital, and since June was a doctor, they moved her mother-in-law, Esther, into the new home. It was difficult going from the fast pace of an 800-room hospital in the city, with gunshot wounds and drama, to a hospital a quarter of that size and an emergency room that rarely saw anything. 24 recently remodeled trauma rooms, and at most, they had 8 at a time full. Most of the time, there was only one doctor and a couple of nurses. The nights weren't crazy like Chicago. They were quiet and boring. It didn't take long for her to fall into the routine there. She ended up enjoying the pace. Smug as she was, God complex in tow, June wasn't thrown a loop like most when the infection began. Even in her rural setting, she recognized it and was on top of it. She was the first to go public with concerns that human nature, not communicability rate, would cause the virus to spread out of control. She was right. People, just like June, would get it, not because they took a breath of air or were exposed to it, but because they cared and loved. They were human. All the precautions, gloves or face masks in the world, weren't going to cut it. They wouldn't protect the mother who held her dying child or the husband who cradled his wife, because they wouldn't be wearing a plastic sheath when they kissed their loved ones goodbye, or rather, what was really needed, a suit of armor. No one who caught it truly, willingly allowed themselves to get infected. It wasn't on any death wish bucket list. In an unconscious way, they were vulnerable and didn't realize it. At some point, though, it wasn't enough to just survive. That wasn't living. Succumbing was the fast way out. Was it, though? Was it really?